Hey guys, it's Wanda the Traveling Dutchie coming right at you from beautiful Costa Rica. In today's video, we'll discuss how I went from a digital nomad to a Costa Rica expat, why I picked Costa Rica, and the mistakes I made that I wish I hadn't. So make sure you stick around till the end so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Now, if you're new to this channel, I'm a Dutch expat and I've been living in Costa Rica for the last 16 years. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you'd really help me out if you did. And please make sure to check that little bell icon so you receive a notification every time I upload a new video. So let's get into it. So let me explain a little bit about me and how I grew up and what I decided to do. And that leads me to, the first mistake is a big word, but like something I wish I had known before I started. So you see, I studied tourism and international business. And my goal in life was to work and live in as many different countries as possible. I didn't want to stay in the Netherlands, have a boring desk job and, live a life in the rat race, so to speak. Now here comes my mistake. I've lived in 8 different countries. And so when I moved from country to country, my mistake was I picked a regular job because obviously I needed to be able to afford my fabulous life abroad, wherever I was. So my mistake was actually to go find a job in the country I was in. So for example, when I lived in France, I worked for a hotel. When I lived in Panama, I worked for a travel company. When I lived in Suriname, which is in South America, I was a tourism development manager for an NGO. All the countries I picked, I was working towards my boss's goals instead of my own because I didn't know any better. I didn't know about the laptop lifestyle and starting your own business online and just, bring your computer and you can have all the freedom you want. I just didn't know. We'll discuss that a little bit more later. The second thing I wish I had done differently is the fact that I didn't really follow my gut as to when it comes to knowing when you're in the right place and when you're in the wrong place. So I was so focused on my goal of living in all these different countries that even though when there were situations I wasn't happy in certain countries, I still stuck through it. I just thought if I would leave that I would be a quitter. And for example, when I was in Costa Rica, I actually left Costa Rica after the first 2 years. Not because I didn't like it. I loved it, absolutely loved it. But you see, at that moment in time, Costa Rica was only my 6th country and I wasn't done yet with my overall goal. So even though I literally cried when I left, I moved on to country number 7. And, in each country you make new friends. And I noticed that out of all the countries I'd lived, I would talk to my new friends only about Costa Rica. Right? Country number 7th, I actually had a hard time. I wasn't happy there. Culturally, it was difficult to adjust. It was Panama, by the way. Nothing against the Panamanians. It was just very different from Costa Rica. After 6 months, I decided to move to Spain, even though I really wanted to go back to Costa Rica because I was still, in contact with all my friends there. But I was like, no, my goal is to travel the world. Silly, right? So I went to Spain and the same thing happened. All I could talk about was Costa Rica. And I was still in contact with my Costa Rican friends. So I was like with one foot in Spain, 1 foot still in Costa Rica. So, I should have just followed my gut. I don't know why I felt like a failure. I mean, it's my goal. I can adjust my goal. So that's definitely, I wish I had done different because then I could have, not waste the time I spent in the countries I was miserable, and just like move on to the next chapter. So be careful, you guys. When you move abroad and you're not feeling it, listen to your gut. Now moving on to the third thing I wish I had done differently. See, you guys, I didn't do any extensive research before I moved to each country. So I showed up unprepared. I did the basic research, but not the real research. For example, this will give you a better idea. When I moved to Suriname, which is in South America, and it used to be a colony of the Netherlands, they got their independence in 1975, and I worked as a tourism development manager for an NGO. Even though I was in the capital of Paramaribo, eventually I was sent into the jungle to help this village. We were dependent in the old days on mining activities, which is illegal. And so it was my job to create this project where tourists would come to this area for hiking. There's waterfalls. So the previous mining cottages would be renovated to tourism accommodation. And so little did I know the history of this village was that the Dutch, way back in the day, flooded their village first to create like a dam with an artificial lake for electricity for the city. Clearly, they weren't happy with that. Then years later, they're being told they can't mine anymore. And then years later, here I come, Dutch, telling them all these ways. I can be like very, I get excited when I have a task. And so I'm like, this is what we're going to do. Wrong approach. Obviously, they weren't happy with me at all. So if I had done a little bit research, I would have used a completely different approach. And that one's a little bigger, but also small things. Like before I moved to Costa Rica, I lived in Panama City. Panama City is extremely hot. So I moved to San Jose, the capital of Costa Rica, packed with a suitcase of dresses, shorts. I didn't even know where I was gonna live was actually way colder. So, those are just the silly things I could have been so much more prepared. So learn from my mistake, you guys. So listening to this, you could see why I picked Costa Rica, right? Everywhere I was, I kept talking about Costa Rica. I can't put my finger on exactly what was it about Costa Rica that, made me literally fall in love and I wanted to make it my home. It's a feeling. Here is where I feel at home, but it doesn't mean I stopped traveling. I just made Costa Rica my headquarters and I travel all over the world and I'm loving it. Costa Rica is a very, very special country. So now you see how I went from digital nomad to Costa Rica expat. If there's one big takeaway from this video, I would definitely say it's what I discussed in my first thing that I wish I did differently. And it is the fact that you don't want to take a regular job when you move abroad. We all get a little desperate because it's so exciting to move abroad and we're so excited if we actually find a way to make a living by finding a job. Don't, you guys, because you'll live in paradise, but you're still stuck in your own 9-to-5 rat race. So you live in this beautiful country, but you don't have the flexibility, the time to travel in it and travel in it with your loved ones, your friends, and do the hobbies you like to do. So just do what I did. And, start your own online business. If you're not sure how, you can follow me in my footsteps because I did a step-by-step training on how to start an online business leveraging affiliate marketing. It was a game changer for me. The description of the video, you can find this link and it will explain to you exactly what I did. So follow me in my footsteps. You'll get a coach, an advisor. It's like for any opportunity, any business opportunity to start your own online business, it has the lowest starting cost. It can't be any better. So want to move abroad? Meet the laptop lifestyle. Click on the link below in the description. Follow me in my footsteps. I'm so passionate about this, you guys, because this is how you lead the freedom lifestyle. Check me on Facebook and you'll see what I mean. Just find me. Just type in Wanda Dutchie and you'll see what my life is all about. And you can literally just copy what I did. All right? So check that out. I want to thank you so much for watching. Any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm happy, passionate to help you. And I hope to see you in the next video. Ciao from Costa Rica. Pura vida.